Okay. I would like to offer you an overview of the agenda of today's webinar that will last around 2 hours. So we will start with welcoming of all the participants. So we will have the chance to briefly introduce each other, and we will have an introduction to the ASIGM project and to the content of the webinars that will be given by Denise, which is the project coordinator. And then we will have for around 45 minutes the presentation of the cases and good practices from the different national realities, as I mentioned before. We will have around 15 minutes for questions and answers following their presentation. Then we will proceed by introducing the partners organizations and providing an overview of their mission activities in the fields of social entrepreneurship and social innovation. And for the last part of the webinar, for the last 30 minutes, we will have an open discussion. We have prepared some questions, and we would like to stimulate possible debate, a possible discussion on these on the topics that will arise during the webinar. So I would like now to give the floor to each of you to briefly introduce yourself. As we are many, I will kindly ask you to stick into 10 seconds for your presentation. If you can tell us, please, your name, your expertise, your field, and if you represent any organization, like which organization are you representing, and so on. Okay, so we can start maybe with Sibe. One moment, you are muted.
Hello. Can you hear me now? Okay, my name is Nesibe Hekimoğlu from Konya, Turkey. And I work in Konya Metropolitan Science Center. So that's it, I guess.
And we can proceed now with Gabriele and Matteo, please.
Hello, my name is Matteo Anen, and I'm originally from Italy, and I am
everyone, I'm Gabriele. I'm also from Italy, and I'm also volunteer with System and Generation since January. Thanks.
Frozen.
Continue with Stefan.
Yeah, but it's got frozen.
It's problem of
Okay, let's try to proceed with the little problem of connection. So, Stefan, proceed, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Stefan. I'm from Macedonia, and I'm a volunteer here in Turkey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Elena. I'm also from Macedonia, and I'm also volunteering here in Turkey for 2 months.
Thank you very much. Zelal, please.
Hi, my name is Delal. I am from Ankara and I'm a sociologist, and that's it.
Thank you for being here. Denise, please.
Yes. Hello, my name is Deniz Akartuna. I'm from Ankara. I am 27 years old and I'm working with SNG as a project coordinator. ASIM project is NER project. I am the coordinator of this project, and also this project supported by Ankara Development Agency. And I will introduce much more information about this project.
Okay, thank you, Denise. And Yunus Emre, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Yunus Emre from Ankara. I'm a computer engineer working Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey. That's all.
Thank you very much. Elena and Mustafa, please.
Hello everyone, I am Mustafa. I am from Macedonia, and I'm volunteering here in Turkey for 2 months with system and generation.
Hi everyone, my name is Elena and I'm from Macedonia also, and I'll be volunteering here for 2 months.
Thank you very much, Elena and Muratcan.
Yeah, hello everyone. This is Muratcan Işıldak from Turkey, from Ankara. Nice to see you all.
Thank you very much. Patricia, can you be next one, please?
Hello everyone, my name is Patricia. I'm from Spain and I'm here in System and Generation doing my Erasmus for Young Entrepreneur. I will be here for the 6 months and I am working with Denise in this project in ASIGM.
And thank you. Next one, Anil, can you be next one, please?
Hello everyone, I'm from Georgia. I'm also volunteering here and I'm a student in law faculty. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm from Georgia. My name is Guli. I graduated from International Relations.
Hello, I'm Anna. I'm from Georgia and I'm a volunteer for 2 months in Ankara.
Hello, my name is Huri. I'm from Georgia. I'm also volunteering in Turkey for 2 months.
Thank you very much. The Georgian group, we can proceed with Jamal. Jamal, can you hear us? Okay, let's try later. Aldo, can you be the next one, please?
Okay, so I'm Aldo. I'm from Albania. I'm 22 years. I study biotechnology and I'm volunteering here for 2 months.
Hello, I'm Christina. I'm from Albania too, and I'm staying in Ankara for 2 months. I'm volunteer.
Thank you. I would like to proceed with Osman, please. Okay, we may.
Hi, I'm not. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, so I'm not Osman. I'm Ander from Spain, but I'm using his account. I'm talking from Antalya, and I'm working. I volunteer for leaders in Antalya.
Okay. Repeat your name. Sorry.
Ander.
Okay, thank you for being here. And Denisa, please, can you be next one?
Hello, everyone. I'm Denisa. I'm from Albania. I volunteer in Ankara for 2 months. Thank you.
Thank you. And Erilda?
Hello, everyone. I am Erilda Kola. I've studied geography in bachelor, and now I have just finished my master's on teaching geography. I will be volunteering here in Ankara for 2 months. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mohammed, please.
Mohammed Furkan?
Yes, please.
Yes. Hi, I am Mohammed Furkan. I'm from Turkey. I study at Social Science University of Ankara. I am on the board of director and I am board of director at entrepreneurship groups in my school. So now I am living Antalya.
Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
And we can proceed with Mrs. Özlem, please.
Okay, thank you. I am Özlem. I am a civil society management expert. And in addition, I am a member of Social Entrepreneurship Network in Bursa. Maybe you heard before about us. And I am a social entrepreneurship trainer and mentor. And especially I interest for good models and like successful examples all around the world on that topic. And I was a volunteer in Romania for 1 year with EVS. And as I guess our other friends are coming here with same program. And I'm happy to know all of you. And I want to say all of volunteers, you are welcome to Turkey. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you very much for this very kind wish to the volunteers.
You're welcome.
It's a great pleasure having you here. And we can proceed with Ayşenur, please.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ayşenur from Turkey, and nice to see you all here. Thank you.
Thank you. And next one should be Ulkun.
I don't think so. Ülke Hanım, Miss Ülke can join us.
Yeah. Okay, so we proceed with Emir.
Hi, my name is Emir from Turkey. I'm studying international relations. Nice to see you all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Natasha, would you be the next one, please?
Hi, everyone. I'm Natasha. I'm from Istanbul. I'm a master's student here. Thank you.
Thank you. And Doliana?
Hello, everyone. I am Doliana from Albania, and I'm very happy to be part of this activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are also very, very happy having you here. And I would like to give the floor to Matteo and Gabriele, please, because there were a little problem. We didn't really hear your introduction.
Okay, I hope you can hear us now. I'm Matteo, I'm from Italy, and I'm also a volunteer for System and Generation.
Hello everyone, I'm Gabriele, I'm also from Italy. I'm here volunteer with System and Generation since January. Thank you so much.
Okay, and Esmeralda, please.
Okay, so hello, I'm Esmeralda. I'm from Albania and I work as coordinator for System and Generation. And also I've been supporting the Ankara Innovation Youth Center with logistic and bureaucratic matters. So I'm also happy to be here. And
thank you very much. Also from my side, I'm Jacopo. I come from Italy and I also work for System and Generation as project writer, coordinator for the volunteers. Now I would like to, so this was also a very good test to try our audio and so on. So thank you very much to all of you for your introduction. Let's proceed now. We can start. I would like to give the floor to the project coordinator, which is Denise. So I'd like to ask her to provide us with an introduction to the Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center project and to the contents of this project, please. So Denise, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jacopo. Okay, then I'm sharing my screen. Yes, that one. Share. Yes. Okay, now welcome everyone. Yes. Welcome to Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center's first webinar with young people and stakeholders. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Deniz Akartuna. My specialty is that project writing, designing, and coordinating. I'm working with System and Generation Association. I am project coordinator in Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center, which is supported by Ankara Development Agency. This presentation will be about our project, so let's start. Okay, firstly, I will sum up our association with these sentences. System and Generation gets into the act about increasing of economic growth, social and sustainable development, fostering intercultural citizenship education, promoting tolerance and harmonious coexistence, working on migration and refugee-related issues, encouraging social entrepreneurship initiatives, social inclusion of people with disabilities and fewer opportunities. As you can see, we are working on Erasmus+, European Union, and domestic projects. We worked with Ankara Development Agency on intergenerational interaction model for active living, and as part of this project, we organized a festival called Nesilfest, Generation Fest in Didim. In this project, we brought young people and elder people together. System and Generation Association, as a part of Anna Lindh Foundation, we are head of Turkish network. Also, we are board member of European Network of Youth Centers, Center for European Volunteering, and Eurodesk Turkey Information Point. Now I'm continuing with these pictures. In first picture, you can see the board game cover, which has an Erasmus Plus project accepted in 2015, and that project won Eurodesk Network Prize on 2017. Also, this project had the online game and application, quiz and challenges, interactive web talk series and film, VR experience, and card game. If you want to learn more information about that project, you can check our website. You can find under past projects topics. Other photos related with Anna Lindh Foundation Turkey's meeting. The photo on the top is our members on Turkey when they attend our training, and photo on the bottom is meeting with envoy with other countries. This project by whom? Ankara Development Agency has opened a project call, which is called Social Entrepreneurship and Social Innovation Financial Support Program, and we applied to that program. Ankara Development Agency is under Ministry of Industry and Technology. System and Generation has a role of project owner, and Ankara Social Sciences University is our partner in this project. We are managing together. These are the logos of organizations which has just mentioned, and last logo is Sociokent sign. The aim of Sociokent is to transform the commercial product into social innovation projects. These organizations are public enterprises in our ASIM project as controlled project supporters and stakeholders. Okay, what is ASIM? By the way, ASIM is the Turkish, meaning Ankara Sosyal İnovasyon Gençlik Merkezi, and this is the English meaning Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center. Okay, our project is related with Ankara Regional Plan's intermediary institution components priority, I'm so sorry too. Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center is a project is willing to make consciousness and awareness and young people on Ankara. But now our target group not limited in Ankara due to COVID-19 virus. We have 3 center offices. One of them at Ankara Social Sciences University, other in Necati Bey Street. For those who doesn't know about Necati Bey Street, it is in the center of Ankara. And last one is our mobile social innovation caravan. We can list our purposes of the center, such as to raise awareness and consciousness on young people, to lead and guide young people, and people who want to create or work on social entrepreneurship or social innovation for training themselves and help about their ideas or projects. In the future, our center will function like a pre-incubation center to educate people about social topics and benefits, to involve young people in social entrepreneurship and social innovation process, and provide employment opportunity for unemployed people, unemployed youngsters, peoples, and last one working on people in Ankara and Turkey. This is our Ankara Social Sciences University Center office, and the address is in here. And we want to transform that office into a pre-incubation center in the future. As you can see, that center is so central and easy to access with public transportation. Okay, this is our mobile social innovation caravan, as you can see. Now it stays at Ankara Social Sciences University's campus. The purposes of our caravan is introduce our center to young people who have disadvantages about reaching our center, who study at high school or university, and people who have an idea about social benefits. When we look at the map, we can see all Ankara's map and districts. Ankara has 25 districts and most close one is more than 50 kilometers away. According to 2019's data, Ankara's population is 5,639,076. In Ankara, there is a population living in the surrounding districts as much as the population living in the center. Therefore, we want to reach all young people who live inside the Ankara borders with using our caravan. Caravan's other aim is increase centers and projects visibility. Our starting point for this approach is that everyone can produce projects and ideas that will benefit socially. Caravan started its journey from Beypazarı in here, and now it's on Ankara Social Sciences University campus on the center. Due to the COVID-19 virus, thousands of students who come to Ankara every year to study remained in their hometown because universities switched to distance education on this year. And half of Ankara's young population did not come to the capital as every education semester. Our caravan would enter the campuses of the universities and promote. However, Ankara's universities are closed since this training period has started distance education. But we wish to travel to other districts with caravan and provide information in accordance with social distance and epidemic measures. Why ASIM? Because as the System and Generation Association, we want to develop the social entrepreneurship and social innovation ecosystem in Ankara. We want to inspire young people about these topics. We want to show them not everything's about money or serious job. We want to encourage them to become owners of their own businesses. Thus, we will both contribute in solving the unemployment problem in our country, increase the welfare of people through projects and entrepreneurship, and act in accordance with the decent work goal of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We want to guide them about what they can do when they have ideas for social benefits without forgetting that idea and how to make their ideas come true. And last one is to include in process. Ankara processes. Ankara has a young population that cannot be underestimated during the normal education period. However, it is difficult for young people to reach decision-making mechanisms individually. We bring policymakers like the KA3 project of the Erasmus Plus program and young people together through project calls. This red box is a precaution on Ankara Regional Plan and ASIM project. When we look at the Ankara Regional Plan, this red box is a precaution under the heading Working in Ankara. ASIM project was written in accordance with the Ankara Regional Plan and according to this precaution. And what does ASIM has? As you can see, there are many activities and features in the center. These are trainings, meetings, internship opportunities, youth and stakeholder network, accessibility, and encouraging activities. Firstly, we believe everyone needs education for everything. One of the main activities of our center is our trainings. In accordance with the purpose of the project, we first need to inform about the concepts of social entrepreneurship and social innovation in order to raise awareness and consciousness among young people. The main topic of our trainings are problem analysis training, idea generation training, create feasibility and business plan, making a project in general, and social entrepreneurship and social innovation concepts. In fact, we would hold our trainings face-to-face twice a month in our center. But due to the COVID-19 virus, we decided to carry out our trainings on the online training platform, considering the health of both the young people who will receive training and the teachers who will train. In this way, we eliminated the possibility of both of trainee and the educator to meet frequently. Our trainings to be published on the internet. We have the opportunity to add additional courses to help entrepreneurship or innovation movements, such as entrepreneurship and business establishment, legal training on the institutionalization process of social enterprises, social impact analysis, branding training and strategy, and the use of digital tools in these areas. Our meetings will take place for young people. Studies will be carried out to generate ideas for the center and develop these ideas by holding brainstorming meetings with young people as often as possible. Depending on the COVID-19 virus, either face-to-face or via Zoom. In the social benefit solutions section, the solutions mentioned as ideas will be handled by young people and adoption to society will be discussed. Under the guidance of Ankara Development Agency, we want to offer young people internship opportunities in the field of social entrepreneurship and social innovation by taking part in our center. In this way, internship opportunities in the field of social entrepreneurship and social innovation will be created in Ankara, and their knowledge capacity will be improved in these areas during their studentship or after school. Our center has youth and stakeholders networks. We would love to see your participation in both your young and stakeholder networks. For this, you must register or become a member of our center. Because of the COVID-19 virus, we choose to use a different method considering this digitalization. We will add a forum page in addition to our website currently under construction. The forum page will have separate membership opportunities for stakeholders and young people. In the forum, young people will be able to discuss with each other under topics, share ideas, and provide first-hand access under the heading of stakeholders. Our aim is to facilitate the communication of young people with decision-making mechanisms and to establish a bridge between them. In addition, the forum will act as social media in the field of online social entrepreneurship and social innovation and will work to be constantly active. Another important topic is accessibility. It is important for us that disadvantaged people participate in our center because these people are the people who have the real problems and they provide solutions much better than the people outside. For this reason, reaching these people and helping them produce projects is one of the goals of our center. A 6-point embossed keyboard and a computer program for the visually impaired a stair lift for the physically disabled, and sign language and speaking hand application will be used in our center. Contests and case studies, the last one, are among our activities to ensure the continuity of young people's interest and encourage the emergence of different ideas. Okay, our project duration is 18 months. The project, which starts in June 2020, is planned to continue until February 2022. When the project period is over, we hope that ASIM will continue independently under System and Generation Association. So, for who? Anyone can participate in our project. Our aim is to reach every human being without any discrimination, such as color, religion, language, race, or education level. No background is needed to generate social benefits. The priority of our center is young people, because young people are our tomorrow, and they are the people who can lay the groundwork for the environment they want to live in. In addition, high school students, social entrepreneur candidates, people with disabilities, and people who conduct academic students can benefit from opportunities such as education, guidance, and internship at our center and contribute to our center. How many? Question, that part. We have performance indicators in our project, and we need to accomplish the data in these indicators at the end of the project. In our project, when our trainings were to be face-to-face, we had set the goal of training at least 400 students. However, due to the COVID-19 virus, we will carry out our trainings via online training platforms, as I mentioned in previous slides. In this way, we will be able to reach a much higher number in the internet environment in a short time. Our total project budget has been determined as 389,100 Turkish liras. We are planning to ensure the financial continuity of ASIM through certificate, advertisement, and consultancy fees after the end of the project. This is the end of my presentation, not project. Thank you for listening. You are always welcome in our center, and please don't forget to join our network when our website is ready. If you have any question, you can ask now. Oops. Okay, Jacopo, I think no one has a question.
Okay, or if any participant has any question, like also I would encourage them to take note. We can also ask later if some questions come later. In fact, now we will proceed with the presentation of the good practices and realities from the different nationalities that are represented by our volunteers. So also in this case, I would like to remind you, please take note in case any of you would like to ask something. We will have 15 minutes later for question and answers. So please take some notes if possible. And thank you very much, Denise, for this very well detailed presentation, for the opportunities offered by the Ankara Social Innovation Center. We are very much grateful. So I'm now sharing my screen, just one moment. We will start with the presentation of Macedonia. Okay, just one moment, is uploading. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen. So I would like to ask from the Macedonian group who is in charge for the presentation.
It's me.
Stefan, okay.
Yes.
Please.
I don't know. Can you go the next slide, please?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Denisa, for everything and for this opportunity. Macedonia, as you know, maybe somebody doesn't know, was part of Yugoslavia at the time. So we don't have a lot of history in entrepreneurship. But I can start from 1998, when Macedonia made a cooperation or some financial contract with the Netherlands. They, till last year, around 55 million euros have been given to 60,000 entrepreneurs from Macedonia. So I will start for each year what happened. In 2000, there were given money to 1,000 entrepreneurs. 2002, a new 4-year contract for support from the Netherlands was made between Macedonia and the Netherlands of 5 million euros, 5.5. In 2005, 2,000 new entrepreneurs received money from this foundation. 2006, they organized student visits to the top banks in Netherlands, United Kingdom, and Croatia. In 2008, Macedonia gave 23 millions of euros to a new young entrepreneurs. 2011, they start a new funding program. The name of the program was Promotion of Female Entrepreneurship. 2014, there was a ceremony for the best entrepreneur in the last 10 years, something like the Oscars for the movies, but this was for the entrepreneurs. 2017, we received new financial assistance from the from European Union, and 2019, they gave us also, European Union gave us money for the green businesses. And also, as you can see, I put a sticker down on the right, and this is because in Macedonia, we don't have a difference between males and females. I also talked with my colleagues. I asked them if they noticed this, but this is not true. We have like equality between men and women. Also in the government, 70% of the ministers are women. For example, we never had Minister of Defense because we think the female can take better care of the country. Okay, so the main reasons to start social businesses in Macedonia, we watched a YouTube video from one national television. They asked a lot of young people. This is some answers of them. Somebody said it's the best way to get startup capital. You have more freedom. You can make money, of course. Learn new skills. You might lower your taxes, create jobs for the others, follow your passion, escape rat race. Rat race, for the ones who doesn't know, it's when you struggle for money. So this is something like quick, yeah, of the competition. It's like quick way to receive money. Also, you can innovate. You can face the challenge, and you can be your own boss, own reasons, and you can make own decisions. Next, please. Okay, so this is about the Macedonian government, how we are giving chance to young people. The government 5 years ago gave a free training to professors from high school, especially business professors. They teach the method of Henry Ford, so they can share the experience and the knowledge with the students. In Macedonia, in every high school, it's obligatory to take business class 2 years. While we are in high school, doesn't matter if you're studying general high school or you are at medicine or even at sport, you need to do these business lessons to take this class. Next. There are 4 types of funds: action funds, bond funds, monetary funds, and balance funds. How the funds are invested in each of these types of funds: action fund, premium investments, bond fund, 100% bond, and cash funds, cash deposit. Next. Okay, so this is an example. It's a very good example for Macedonia. The name of the company is Arno, which means good in my language. It's about helping and giving financial help to green business ideas. This is their logo with the colors. And they have application criteria. You need to be, your age needs to be from 18 to 35 years old. You can be from any country. So they gave a lot of money to people from Greece, Serbia, and Albania. And the business needs to be related, as I said, green business needs to be related with about better access to nature, better education, women empowerment, and healthcare. Down there, you can see the email of them. They are always replying. I saw some comments on their site, so they're like very good. So if you have some ideas, you can about green businesses, you can apply. And I think this is the last slide. And thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much to Stefan, Elena, Mustaf, and Elena from the Macedonian group for making and preparing this presentation, giving us this overview of their countries. Thanks a lot. We now proceed. Thank you. We now proceed with Anil, that is representing the Georgian group. So please, Anil, the floor is yours.
Hello again. I'm gonna present to you social entrepreneurship with social innovation in Georgia. First slide, please. Thank you. In general, Georgia's legislation does not define the concept of social entrepreneurship. Hence, there are no special norms for Georgia's social enterprises. Starting a business in Georgia and related procedures are rebel endeavors, and in that there is a little time for the registration as a firm. Another slide, I'm going to talk about gender roles in Georgia. Not all groups, in general, not all groups in society have equal access to employability and entrepreneurial opportunities. The majority in Georgia formally shares the idea of gender equality. A certain percentage of the population is in favor of traditional distribution of the gender roles. Women's entrepreneurship is accepted by existing stereotypes, as entrepreneurship is largely a product of the environment. I'm going to talk about now. I'm going to talk about an example, which is the example of social entrepreneurship in Georgia. The name of this project is the Georgian Geostick project, which provides geostick opportunity and hope to poor people accused of crime, though the provision of legal assistance, supportive services, and employment opportunities geared to rebuild their lives. And the main reason and the main goal of that project is to reduce and decrease the poverty and crime in Georgia, and help people who is poor and don't have enough money to have special needs. For another slide, I'm gonna talk about another slide. Possible. I'm going to talk about one huge organization in Georgia, which is the main organization, and the name of that organization is Enterprise in Georgia. In that it's like a competition. They have like a competition, and the Georgian citizens can apply for the enterprise Georgia's macro and small business support programs by registering their business ideas. All adult Georgian citizens are able to participate in that program as entrepreneurs who have or have not received financial support from Enterprise Georgia's macro and small business support component. Individuals who have previously benefited from the program are still able to grow their business or start a new project. It should also be noticed that all economic activities are prioritized by the program, and apart from projects relating to agriculture. The program aims is to develop macro and small business, establish modern entrepreneurial culture, and create employment opportunities in Georgia. Moreover, it supports to respond to the economic challenges caused by the COVID-19. The program has already provided grants for 6,220 projects, to 6,212 projects, and a total investment of which amounts of more than 61 million Georgian lari. Thank you for your attention.
And thank you to Anna. Sorry, my mistake. I thought Anil was the speaker, but in fact it was Anna. Thank you very much. And thanks Anna, Anil, Guli, and Huri for the preparation of this presentation. We can now proceed with the best practices in the case of Albania. And Aldo will be the speaker representing the Albanian group. So Aldo, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. First, before to start, I wanted to say thank you for the opportunity to share this information for social enterprises in Albania. Okay, so social enterprise is a relatively unfamiliar term in Albania that is still in its initial development phase. Most of the entities surveyed, 82%, have set up a social enterprise activity during the last decade, 2011 till 2020, followed by 80% of SA established in the period 2000 till 2010. The evidence shows that the phenomenon of social enterprise is relatively new, emerging during last 2 decades, a fact supported also by previous studies. Partners Albania 2016. In terms of legal framework, the 2060 law on social enterprises restricts the sector to the MPO legal form. The law, which combines work integration with social services provision, stimulates that social enterprises have to provide a restricted list of social services to marginalized groups and simultaneously employ a considerable number of people from marginalized groups. The most common social enterprise target groups are people with health disabilities, youth, and unemployed people. Commonly, social enterprises registered as MPOs engage volunteers, whereas other legal forms generally do not have volunteers. Albanian social enterprises in a democratic context are closely linked with initiatives that have evolved from the non-profit sector, mostly with the support and guidance of foreign donors. The law number 65 on social enterprises in Albania was approved by the parliament in 2016. Specific funding for social enterprises has mainly come from foreign donors, followed by sales and membership quotes. The law, which combines work integration with social services provision, stimulates the social enterprises have to provide a restricted list of social services to marginalized groups and simultaneously employ a considerable number of people from a marginalized group. The lack of national networks for social enterprises that could promote their role and advocate developmental needs is a significant issue. The Albanian government considers social enterprises as an opportunity for social inclusion and employing people from disadvantaged groups rather than as means to boost the spirit of entrepreneurship and encourage social innovation. In Albania, social enterprises set up as limited liability companies predominantly operate in two main fields: social service provision, social service provision, and work integration, commonly associated with the delivery of innovative and eco-friendly products and or services. So, Design by Pana was established in 2013 by Pezana Reja, an architect by profession who had already undertaken a lot of civil society voluntary work in creating Design by Pana. Pezana was finally able to combine both her profession and passion in one activity. The business is registered as a sole proprietorship and therefore benefits from certain taxation benefits. It is an innovative, creative, ecological, and social upcycling company, the first in Albania to work with reclaimed wood, especially pallets, and transforming the material into furniture according to specific customers' requirements without filling trees. The business is distinctive because of its unique, eco-friendly products and social aim fulfilled by employing people from marginalized groups. At the moment, Design by Pana employs 18 full-time employees, out of which 12 are orphans, unemployed youth, returned immigrants, people with mental disabilities, or those from Roma and Egyptian communities. Tejoni Cafe is a Tirana-based NPO social enterprise founded by the Jonathan Center. With over 10 years experience of providing social services for children and youth that have Down syndrome, the Jonathan Center aims to educate, train, and serve people with the condition while finding innovative ways to help them integrate into the community. Tejoni Cafe was established in March 2017 as a center to generate revenue for pro bono therapies that support children and youth with Down syndrome. Representatives of Albanian public institutions, social enterprises, and donor agencies agree that the state has an important role in empowering the country's social enterprise sector. However, their views and consideration differ in relation to the sector's legal framework. Representatives of donor agencies and the U.S. delegations to Albania clearly state their interest in supporting Albanian social enterprise development. Partners Albania is working to encourage the development of social entrepreneurship in Albania through the seed funding support for startups, exchange and cooperation among organizations and entrepreneurs, investors, and private sectors at national and international facilitation of dialogue with state actors to encourage incentives for development of CA, networking and promotion of best practices through media programs and articles. The work is focused in 3 pillars: education and public awareness, research, collaboration platforms to support SA. The Ministry of Health and Social Welfare's responsibility for the implementation of the law on social enterprises number 65 2016 is indicative of the government's vision of social entrepreneurship as a social welfare system solution rather than being based on entrepreneurship itself. Thank you.
And thank you very much to Denisa, Aldo for giving us the speech, and Erilda and on the preparation of the presentation. Thank you very much to the Albanian group. We may now proceed with the study case of Italy. Matteo will be the speaker.
Thank you, Jacopo. We thought of starting our presentation with a little bit of the very quickly historical background of how social entrepreneurship was born. And we can track this down since the early 1900s, when there is, we see the start of a tradition of strong civic engagement in Italy, for which has 2 main components. One is the connection with the Catholic culture and the support of social initiatives by the Catholic Church was, of course, a strong presence in the Italian territories. And on the other side, so the social initiatives by the workers' movement. And it's interesting also to see how these 2 components, which have their always had ideological difference, in some moments, in some key historical moments, were able to work together to advocate for more strong institutional work and also structural reform of social entrepreneurship in Italy. A very important moment in this perspective was the 60s and 70s, when we see develop a lot of bottom-up initiatives to advocate for rights of vulnerable social groups, and also a social initiative to concretely help in the promotion of these rights, especially with the model of cooperatives, which to this day is the kind of the model, the fundamental template we think about in Italy when we talk about social enterprise. And this is also reflected in the Italian legislation. But as you can see from the next slide, the legal framework of social entrepreneurship in Italy took some time to catch up to what the civil society was doing. So we see a development of social cooperative very strongly in the 60s and 70s, but the first time it was regulated by law it was just in the early 1990s. And it was this model of social cooperatives, so of cooperative individual or association of individuals that work for a common goal and they mutually support each other. Very successful since 1999, and is probably the most lively typology of social entrepreneurship to this day. There are social cooperatives everywhere in Italy that works in many different fields, especially in the field of social care, of work integration, and then of education, of health, of culture and promotion of sports. And as I was saying, it boomed in the 90s because many of the cooperatives that were already pre-existing the legal reform were able to find legal support in this. Another important step was a reform of 2005 and 2006 when Italy introduced the legal category of enterprise. And the idea behind this reform was to help other organizations which traditionally weren't organized as cooperative to also access the advantages fiscally and from a legal standpoint of social cooperatives. But this model wasn't very successful for a variety of reasons, for the fact that the fiscal advantages weren't so advantageous. So many of the organizations didn't actually apply for the model, and also for the some political prejudice against the model. So the another reform, which is the most recent, the third sector reform, which brought key changes to provide a common framework for the entire no-profit sector. And the aim of the reform was to render social enterpriser qualification more easy to get for eligible organization, and at the same time more attractive to investors, so to attract invest in social enterprises. And it's a very recent reform, considering 3 years, and the early research seemed to suggest that the model was quite successful, although with the impact of COVID-19, like everywhere else in the world, but considering also how strongly it impacted Italy, you know, it's a difficult situation to examine right now at the moment. We can move to the next slide.
Okay, as Matteo was speaking also the effect that the situation related to the COVID-19 pandemics as seen right now on the Italian economy, we would like also to mention briefly the challenges that we are facing in our country. Because also if Italy is one of is part of the G8 and right now one of the richest economy in the world, Italy has been really affected by the economical crisis of 2018. Still right now, Italy has some issue problem. In fact, 1/3 of the younger age to 20 to 34 are considered needs, so younger that are neither in employment or in education. And at the same time, the poverty situation is affects almost 4 million people in Italy, and there is also general untrust again the political situation that affects in a dramatic drop in social trust. Another aspect that we would like underline is the fact that the social innovation has been started to be considered as important topic just since 2012, taken from the mystery of education. But at the same time, also if in the last years we had the progress, there is still an incoherent long-term policy that still affecting the actual situation. And also another problem is related to the steady reduction of funding that is continuously happening. Can you please go to the next slide? But at the same time, also if the Italy has still some economical and institutional problem, we would like also to underline the fact that the social innovation has a bigger potential because is in a logical point of view is reaching those parts of society where the normal private economy and the institution cannot reach. And in this sense, the social innovation has a really important role enrich all the social every social issue. About this, we wanted to briefly speak about an example from a city where a cooperative that is financed by a foundation, and after Matteo will speak also about the financing in Italy, is working in reaching the fewer opportunity categories, in supporting them to find a job and forming them free friendship to include them in the social issue.
Okay. In the next slide, we wanted to talk about some of the issues relating to financing social entrepreneurs, and also see some example of good practice in this sense, because as emerged from what Gabriel was saying, there is one thing that is lamented a lot by social entrepreneurs in Italy is the lack of structural public fundings for social enterprises. And perhaps lack is a too strong a word, because there are also from the third sector reform, and also coming from the initiative by the Italian government through the support of European Union funds. There are agitation and incentive for young entrepreneurs, but what is lamented, the volume of this financial opportunity is not at all proportionate to what the reality of the social enterprise is, because as we said, there is a very lively third sector. There are examples of excellencies at a local level that are taken and studied as model at an international level. But the main opportunities for funding are still based on self-financing and self-initiative by cooperatives and cooperative association of cooperatives, and to relation to the private sector. So the main credit line is still the traditional banking system. And in this sense, historically in Italy, there is a strong and eradicated network of cooperative credits, cooperative banks, both at the very national financial institutes. And one particular example is Banca Etica, which the first ethical finance institution, which was founded in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. And it was an initiative by cooperatives, by an association of cooperatives that decided to join and create this financial institute, which delivers financial support according to some ethical criteria. And so they are a very important source of finance for new social initiative, new social enterprises. And especially they played an important role in the 2008 financial crisis to ensure the maintainment of certain social enterprises, and also now with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, we wanted to spend a few words about gender inclusion, gender equality in social entrepreneurship. So one data which is brought as an example for the status of gender equality in Italian entrepreneurship is that still less than 22% of Italian enterprises are led by a woman. And although this number is increasingly every year, this growth of Italian woman-led enterprises is very narrow. So last year was about 50%. Now it's something closer to 21.75. And the reason for this gender gap in women entrepreneurship is connected to a general consideration about the inclusion of women in the job market. So the lack of structural infrastructure for support for women, and considering the particular role that women still play in the Italian families, and also the cultural paradigms and the cultural expectation, the gender stereotypes that have a great role in the Italian working culture, and also the unpaid labor that often, the domestic labor that often compensate the short of the welfare state, that is still largely impacting women, and so also hindering their potential as entrepreneurs. And about this, we can mention that very recently, and we can go to the next slide. Okay, thank you. We wanted to mention this study, which was promoted very recently by the regional government of Lombardia, which analyzed several good practices and case studies of successful enterprise led by women. Now, it is a regional study, but Lombardia, as you may know, is the most rich and region of Italy. And so it's very important also as a model for a social entrepreneur. A lot of the important and profitable reality are located in Lombardia. And incidentally, for this reason, it was also one of the region which was more impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic because of the movement of people in the region. But anyway, going back to the study itself, they analyzed a lot of successful social enterprises led by women in different sectors, and they found out that the conclusion of the study was that this involvement of a greater involvement of women in social entrepreneurship can act as a catalyst and generate a virtuous cycle that will facilitate access to the job market for women in general. And to realize this, it's vital for a policymaker at a local, regional, and national level to involve more and more women in social entrepreneurship and to implement new regulation and better adapt to the new role that women play in society and their role as entrepreneurs. Thank you.
And thank you very much for your presentation. Thank you, Matteo and Gabriele, for preparing those slides. So I will stop sharing the screen. I would like now to give the floor to Patricia before having 10 minutes for the questions related to those presentations. But first, I would like to give the floor to Patricia. She's a young entrepreneur here in System and Generation. She's joining the program Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurs. So I would like to ask Patricia to give us an overview of the involvement of the volunteers in the Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center. If you can tell us what has been done so far. It started recently, this collaboration, but what has been done so far, and how their involvement, the involvement of international volunteers in the activities of this project, of ASIGM project, is linked with the principles of their EVS project, because they are here as EVS. So please, Patricia, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody again. And yes, as Jacopo said, I am a young entrepreneur here, an entrepreneur intern here in System and Generation. And I am working with Denise also in Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center. I would like to explain you a bit what is our volunteers are doing now there. And first of all, I would like to say that from System and Generation, we thought it would be really interesting to involve our volunteers in Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center project in order to offer them a more complete and interesting experience during their volunteering project. We believe that entrepreneurship is an important trend nowadays because it's a powerful tool not only to changing society, if not also to create more new jobs. Also because entrepreneurs have the possibility to make changes, and when a business is starting to be successful, a business or an enterprise, it is impossible to one person just handle all the activity from the business. So in this way, people can have and start to create more jobs. Also, from System and Generation, we entrust our volunteers several tasks in Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center, such as to get in touch with organizations in their home countries that are focused on social innovation and entrepreneurship, and inviting them to become part of our network. They were also doing a research about good practices in their country, and this information is the information that they have already shared with us some minutes ago. From Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center, we would create a really big network and just not be like that, if not create a big point reference for people who are interested in entrepreneurship, more in social entrepreneurship, and also focus on young people. We can understand young people from 20 and 34-year-old, more or less. And we also want to help them to develop their ideas and follow their own ways, and why not, to reach their dreams. Finally, to close my speech, I would like to say thank you again to System and Generation and to Dennis, because they are giving to me this amazing opportunity to join a Social Innovation Youth Center project. Yes, I also hope you are going to have the best luck. So yes, thank you very much.
And thank you very much, Patricia. Thanks a lot for your contribution and your involvement in the project, leading the volunteers towards the activities of the Social Innovation Youth Center. And now we will have, we are a bit strict on time, so we can have 10 minutes for questions on the presentation made by the volunteers on the different cases and the good practices of the different national realities. So I would like to ask to our guest, to anyone who has any question, please, this is the moment.
I can ask if nobody don't want. Okay,
please,
firstly,
please.
I want to ask, will you share with us all presentations?
Yes, if you may send me your email, because I don't have the contacts of everyone, but if you can write me in the chat, I will share.
Okay. And I'm sorry, I don't know your name directly.
Yes, Jakob. Yeah.
Jakob, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And my question is to all participations. And I want to ask about their ecosystems. For all of them, are their ecosystems support them, or maybe if they want to describe their ecosystems, or all stakeholders in their countries, about networks or others, how can I say, institutions level.
Okay, if the institutional level is supporting.
Yeah, about ecosystem, yeah.
I think Patricia would like to reply.
Yes, I didn't speak anything about how is the situation in Spain, because the webinar is already a bit long. But in Spain, in all the universities, you can find super easy the opportunity to join some associations which are super focused on normal entrepreneur, or also social entrepreneurship. And yes, in the universities you can find also workshops and also a lot of conquests in which you can present your ideas. And if your idea is selected, you are going to have the support of some professionals in entrepreneurial skills. And these people will help you to develop your business. And finally, if your idea is selected, you will take some money in order to start your own business. Because in Spain, for example, I don't know in the other countries, but young people usually don't have a lot of money. So institutions and banks, also private institutions, give us some money in order to start to carry out our businesses. So yes, I think in Spain we have a kind of entrepreneurial ecosystem, and mostly if you are a university student.
Thank you, Patricia. I think for the case of Italy, if I may, I'm from Italy as well, but I think Matteo was giving us this view from the support that there is also from the financial institutions towards the social entrepreneurship startups. But Matteo, maybe can you tell us a bit more, if you know, like about the support of the institutional level, but also I would like to ask a parallel question, like are there any incentives for startups and social entrepreneurship businesses to get some loan? So receiving money, but maybe with the lower taxes or maybe with the lower interest to be given back. This will be, I think, from my point of view, this will be one of the main, one of the best way to support and to foster social entrepreneurship in a country.
Yes, I mentioned this very quickly before. There is like a incentive to young entrepreneurship, which is being introduced by law since 1995, which with a law that allocated some funds explicitly to young entrepreneurship, and they've also been updated in terms of criteria and also fund, and they are, for example, at the moment are funds that are allocated to young entrepreneurs between 18 to 35 years. And they have quite advantageous fiscal advantages. But the thing with the, that analyst of the social sector usually says that these funds, while they exist, they're not able to satisfy like the number of new social initiatives that are appearing in Italy every year, because the third sector is very likely. So this is why it's underlined the importance of the financial credit sector, especially those of cooperative banks, which then also coordinates some project and opportunities with some universities and other stakeholders, similar to what Patri was talking about. We have similar initiatives, but usually there is always a financial institution or foundation of a financial institution supporting this kind of initiatives.
Thank you very much. Very, very, thanks a lot. And as we have just 5 more minutes for questions, I would like to give the opportunity maybe to someone else to ask any other doubts or questions related to the presentations of the volunteers.
May I?
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
It's okay, I can ask you later.
Okay. Erilda?
Yes. Okay, so I would like to ask to everyone here if how can youngsters from 20 to 30 years old can get involved or interested in social entrepreneurship and social innovation?
So, like, let's say if I can rephrase a bit your question, how to attract, I need to mute you one more. So if I can rephrase a bit like how to possibly attract talents into the sector of social entrepreneurship and social innovation, considering that the primary goal for social entrepreneurship is to create social value for society, but considering that there are no high salaries in the sector. Mostly, again, the primary goal is to create some social value, so it's not about getting profit out of it if not sustaining yourself, let's say. So how, the question from Erilda, how to possibly attract talented people, talented youth into the field of social entrepreneurship and social innovation? What could be done and by whom, by which actor, like maybe at the legislative level, at the institutional level, on a local level, what could be done, or from the educational level, maybe from university to encourage more through trainings, what could be done more? This is a question that Erilda made for everyone, yes? Stefan, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I think a lot of youngsters are scared of this. They're all thinking about the consequences after, what is gonna happen. For example, in Macedonia, you can take money from the government, but you need to keep the business 3 years. If something bad happened before 3 years, you need to return the money back. So a lot of people know about this, but they're very scared. And I think the education is very good. And also they need to give us like more examples, like more people who did this and now they're successful and help the countries. And also I want to say to Miss Özlem, I sent one link in the chat. She can open it, and it's about the ecosystem in Macedonia. I talked about this organization. They're giving money for green businesses because Macedonia, it's 90% mountains and forests. So that's our only treasure in the country. So we need to take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to offer additional inputs? Zelal, please.
No.
I think in this economical environment, it is not easy for young people to take this kind of risk in terms of, I mean, money and to afford their lives. So I think it may be a way to encourage young people to take risk and to speak up about their ideas in social entrepreneurship. Could be in university years. In the university, still students and young people will not have that much responsibilities, for example, to earn money or to feed themselves or their families and etc. So in university years, it would be very, very beneficial if we can train students and to show them different opportunities and to show them that we value their opinion about social entrepreneurship and other kind of entrepreneurships as well. Yeah, I think, for example, in my university years, I have never seen something like this. So I'm thinking if I had seen something like this, I would definitely attended to do something for my community and other communities and for vulnerable people and etc. So thank you.
Thank you, Zara. Yes, I definitely agree with you, which is also a bit what Stefan as well was saying, like try to encourage showing more good practices, especially maybe at the educational level. We should intervene by encourage the students, like by providing them information so that they are not lost, let's say, in the jungle of starting a new business. Okay, thank you very much. Who else would like to speak? I think from the contact of Osman. I'm very sorry, I don't remember the name.
Yeah, I'm Ander. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would like to ask, like, for finding new like place to start finding partnerships, to find like this kind of opportunities, like where to start from, like if you are like finding for this, where can you how it would, like, which is the best way to find this kind of opportunities? Thank you.
So how can you start? Can reply, please? So where to start?
Yeah,
Let's say
like,
you have some
where to start from, where to find, like how to do it. This kind of, I know it is a very general question, but yeah, like to be like, I would like to, if someone can take me to a more specific place.
Jacopo, if you accept request, if you request me, I will answer this question.
Please.
In ASIGM, in our center, we want to guide to young people. So if anyone who wants to join us, or who wants to create an idea about the social entrepreneurship or social benefits, they can come to us, and we will help to young people about creating and developing their ideas about these topics. And also we will search, we always search, and we have a connection with the other organization and the other NGOs. So we are a good, how can I say, good projects research on the internet, and after that we will find project calls about these topics or about your ideas, and after that we prepare to you writing a project, designing a project, and we want to do that with the young people. And after that, if the young person's project is will accept, this is an employment chance for young people, and this is a good job area for the young people, because in the world now the system is not so good, because like I said, it's not all about about money or the serious job or the being a doctor or the being a lawyer. No, because we are living together in the world, and when a problem in there, everyone can see that problem and everyone disturbed that problem. So we want to change, and we want to solve that problem with the social benefits projects. So that's why, if you want to get more information, please come to our center. Thank you.
Very much, Denise, for your answer. Also, I would like just to add that in fact there are also some else to say, there are some intermediate organizations that work to promote entrepreneurship that you might check in your country, so either in Spain or in Turkey. And basically what they do, they offer guidance, and they monitor your possible like business plan, your idea, and they will offer you some guidance, let's say what to do, which are the next steps. So you may find these intermediate organizations that they work, for example, within the Erasmus for Young Entrepreneurship program, but not only. And they are specialized, they are expert, especially in how to establish a startup. So they can really give good advice in this regard. I would like just to answer, there was one question in the chat. So Nesibe asked which institution represent. So just to mention for the volunteers, they do not represent any organization, if not system. But what they did, they were searching from good practices and cases from their own countries. So they made like a work last week to find some good examples to offer us and to give us also an overview, as we have seen, about mostly the legislation and the context in which the social entrepreneurship happened in their country. We can floor to our guests if they do want to introduce their organization, if they do represent any organization, if they want to give us a bit more of an overview on the mission of their organization, on the activities, what has been implemented, how are linked with social entrepreneurship and social innovation. So this is the moment. And I would like to start with Doliana, because I know that she would like to tell us more about her startup. I think she will speak in Albanian, but then Esmeralda will help us with the translation in English.
Okay, thank you. Atëherë përshëndetje të gjithëve edhe një herë. Është vërtet kënaqësi të dëgjoj praktika të ndryshme të vendeve pjesëmarrëse në këtë webinar. Në Shqipëri. Okay, mund të vazhdosh, Esmeralda.
Again for this opportunity. For her, it's a pleasure to be here and to get to be informed about the realities of entrepreneurship environment in each country that was made presentation.
Në Shqipëri, sipërmarrjet sociale janë një praktikë e re dhe si e tillë është sfidë e madhe për të gjithë ata që ndërmarrin një sipërmarrje të tillë, për faktin se ligjet është e vështirë të implementohen. Pra neve hasim vështirësi në implementimin, pra në zbatueshmërinë e ligjeve. Megjithatë, ne kemi praktika shumë të mira dhe shumë motivuese, pavarësisht se janë të pakta, kam përshtypjen që po bëjnë një punë të mirë për sa i përket bizneseve sociale.
Social initiatives in Albania are quite innovative and it's something really new. So therefore, the people who want to take the initiative to implement something, they really face difficulties in doing this. Nevertheless, we do have good practices, small in numbers, but we do have low in numbers, but we do have good practices of the initiative that have already. Also, we hope that in terms of the law and regulation, the initiatives will be more supported as the time goes.
Para 4 vitesh, para 4 vjetësh unë kam ndërmarr një biznes social, kam aplikuar në Bashkinë e Tiranës dhe jam mbështetur me një startup për hapjen e një bar kafeje e cila shërben si qendër komunitare.
4 years ago, she applied for. She had an idea of starting up a business. It was a cafe. She applied to the municipality of Tirana, and her idea was approved. And the social purpose. Yes.
Qëllimi I kësaj qendre komunitare është integrimi dhe punësimi I personave me aftësitë kufizuara në shoqëri. Pra që të jetë një shoqëri gjithëpërfshirëse.
So the main purpose of this startup was like to serve as a community center and to support people with disability. So to go to go more into a mund të vazhdosh.
Okay. Është ideuar për aktivitete të ndryshme artistike, si për shembull mbrëmje me muzik live, ku këngëtar të verbër së bashku me këngëtar të tjerë krijojnë këtë mbrëmje, këtë atmosferë në këtë bar kafe dhe është parë dhe si një mënyrë punësimi për këta persona të verbër dhe të rinj të tjerë. Ndërkohë është parë si mundësi shumë e mirë për të punësuar krye familjare, pra vajza të divorcuara cilat kanë fëmijë dhe kanë nevojë për një mbështetje, kanë nevojë për një suport, për një ngritje nga ana financiare, por edhe sociale. Dhe është gjetur një mënyrë shumë e mirë dhe ne mendojmë që ta përhapim këtë praktikë dhe me bizneset të tjera.
So the idea of this startup was to and is to support people with disabilities. As I mentioned, apart from being a cafe, they organize different kinds of events. For example, they organize live event shows or karaoke show when visually impaired artists are invited to join. Also, they have given opportunity for employment in this business also to women with fewer opportunities or disadvantaged backgrounds, such as single mothers that have low incomes or divorced moms. And so the idea of people with disadvantaged background, they want to spread it more and more, and are hoping also to get more support from the government, maybe.
Dhe më thonë, aktivitetet të cilat përfshin të rinjt janë të ndryshme, përveç mbrëmje me live, është bërë pjesa e mbrëmjeve të filmit, pra movie night, klubet e librit të cilat të rinjt lexojnë libra dhe vinë dhe bëjnë diskutime, dhe më thonë tavolina diskutimesh. Këto kanë rezultuar shumë të suksesshme prej 4 vitesh, dhe ne shpresojmë që të mbështetemi akoma nga pjesa e bizneseve private, por edhe nga shteti, për të financuar aktivitetet që të jenë në vijshmëri.
Okay, other type of activities that they have been implementing so far are activities for youth, movie night, as you heard, also open discussions. They like kind of, let's give an example. They gather together, they discuss about books, let's say, or different kind of open discussions, and these have been working well so far in these 4 years. Nevertheless, they hope to get more support from institutions in order to be able to organize more inclusive activities in the following years. Yes.
Shumë faleminderit Esmeralda për përkthimin, dhe nuk më ngelet gjë tjetër veç t'ju them mirë se të vini në Shqipëri dhe në biznesin ton Social Globe, i cili është një vend që mirëpret me kënaqësi çdo që mund të jetë pjesëmarrës në aktivitetet tona. Dhe për çdo lloj pyetje unë jam e hapur nëse dikush ka dëshirë.
So she would like to thank you for listening to the presentation and giving her the opportunity to introduce her startup idea. The business is named Social Glow, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And she welcomes all of us if we would like to visit her in Albania, and she's open if any of you have any question. Okay, no questions.
Okay, so we can thank you very much, Doliana. Thanks a lot. So if there are no questions, then we can proceed. Is there anyone else maybe that would like to offer an overview of his startup? Okay, if not, then we can proceed, and around 20-25 minutes, an open discussion to close this event. So I would like some questions. Just one moment, let me take the questions. Okay, so our volunteers and the support of Denise and Patricia, they have prepared some questions to have this dialogue and to try to get more into the topic. So I would like to ask you, first of all, do social innovation, social entrepreneurship influence youth employment? I will also write it in the chat now, but please feel free to start.
Yeah, sorry, can you repeat again the question?
Yes, so I'm also putting in the chat. So,
okay, great. Thank you.
Social innovation and social entrepreneurship, do they, let's say, massively influence youth employment, in your opinion? Can they have a wide impact on youth employment? It's one of the main aspects that is often underlined when we speak about social entrepreneurship. So what is the impact, the benefit that it can bring the employment of young people? Yeah. Denise, I want to reply first.
Yes, I want to give an example. I am, such as I am, because I am unemployment before System and Generation Association. Of course, I worked some places in special sector, private sector, but I don't like that system. So I want to work in a for humans' social benefits. So I learned how to write a project, and I prepared to this project for Ankara Development Agency, and they accept my project, and now I have a job, and this job. With this job, I earn money, and also I can help people with my job. This is my job, but this is also, it's like my hobby because I like helping the people. So for me, yes, this is a big opportunity for young people and young unemployment, because so many brands and so many old people writing a project, because the writing project, it's their specialty, and but they just write, and the continue, it's not their business. But this is wrong, because if the young people produce the new ideas about social innovation or social entrepreneurship, and they will write a project and for the project calls, and yeah, if your project accepts, you will be hired. So this is a very simple equation, and with that way you decide to what's your work, or what's your work's area. And I think this is a good opportunity for supporting young people to create their idea, create their things. Because if, for example, in Turkey, if you enter a public institute, okay, that's all. You are doing an annual job, right? You are monotone. You can't develop yourself. So this is a bad career things for me. And yes, for me, for this question, yes, it's influence. This topics influence youth employment. Thank you, Okapo.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a very important aspect to underline, like how you can, you can put your talent in having a startup, in running a startup, rather than doing a very monotonous job, maybe that you don't really see the purpose. So you do because you need the salary, but you don't really put much of yourself. But with startup, if the right condition, I would add, like if there are so of course, if there are funds for that, I think it's an amazing opportunities for youth who wants to have some right idea to to add value to society with their job. Okay.
Yes, yes. Also, you can solve a problem in your city because you are you're live in that city, and you see that problem in your life. And if you disturb this problem, you have to solve it. You have to try to solve it. So this is a project, and this social innovation and social entrepreneurship movement is a very good opportunity for this also.
Of the target group you want. So we can proceed. We don't have much time. So we have 5 questions in total. The second question that I'm
sorry, I want
in the chat.
Sorry, do you hear me, Jacob? And I hope I will not take more time, but I want to add something which I think it's really important to create a perspective. And for our country, we can say normally we have government part, civil society, private sector, you know. And for now, we can say for social economy, third sector. And for under that title, social entrepreneurship and social innovation topics are really important to create sustainable institutions, or how can I, sorry, a long time I didn't talk in English, maybe it can be hard to talk. And for that, under that title, it can be important. And for now, we have many problems like conflicts. And for that, if we try to find a way to create a like initiative in social area for social benefit, of course we have many opportunities. And for fourth sector, especially for social entrepreneurship, we have ecosystems, and it can open doors and can be opportunities for us. For that reason, I think that of course it's effect for you, it's effect for youth, of positive effect for youth employment. I wanted to add only that. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Özlem. Just at the end, the audio was not very clear, but was clear instead. So that yeah, rather than the first sector like social entrepreneurship can have a much wider impact and benefits for the society, and therefore also on the employment of youth. We can now go on with the next. Social entrepreneurship and social innovation are focused on society and on social values, let's say. To target those needs. Can't, maybe I would like to be a bit provocative, can't the government, like for example, if we have social entrepreneurship and we want to provide opportunities to people with disabilities, we want to provide higher employment opportunities for them, but why do we need to do that through social entrepreneurship? Cannot maybe the government provide those opportunities already?
I think it's their job to do that. Like, we are voting them for this. I don't know, what are you thinking about this?
Personally, if I can say something, I think that in reality, in every kind of society, we can have some political institutional problem. And at the same time, I think the opportunity given by the social innovation is the opportunity of us as to understand also where there are lack in the social issue, and with our values try to fulfill this kind of situation. And this, in fact, is what I was trying to explain also before. The situation, for example, in Italy, the role that has the social entrepreneurship in my country. And so I want to say, yeah, it's the due to every one of us as a citizen, if we are interested, if we have the opportunity to try to give our contribute. And at the same time, I think that the social entrepreneurship, it's really important to fulfill the lack that there are related to the economical situation of the lack of institution. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much to Stefan and Gabri. And we can proceed with the next one, which was already before by Erilda, and we partially answered already. So how can we involve or can we raise the interest into the topic, into the field of social entrepreneurship and social innovation? I would like to add something.
Me
Patricia,
too,
okay. First, Patricia.
Okay, so first of all, I think that if you can find easily in universities or in associations, youth associations, the opportunity to get some help, because, for example, when I was in Granada, I all the time was trying to develop some business or develop something, but once you face the reality, it's like, oh my God, which is the first step that I have to do, and in which order, and what are going next for me, and I don't have money, and blah, blah, blah, blah. So I think if government gives some, like, let's say, grants or to these people who really wants to start their own businesses, and also support, it will be easier in the future to reach monsters every day, and every day, every year, and to add more people and to create a bigger community, ecosystem, entrepreneurial ecosystem. So yes, I think government and universities and associations have to work hard in this topic.
I think that I agree with your point, and in fact, I think, to be very practical, those institutions that can encourage youngsters, like we say, for example, the universities, they should explain how practically how this can be a win-win, in a way that in social entrepreneurship, you definitely provide an added values to the society. You definitely some unmatched needs of the society. So there are some needs that are not well matched. That's why maybe we need those kind of stuff. But at the same time, out of social entrepreneurship, you can have also your own business. So that's why I think it's a win for everyone, because also you can be, if of course, if it's successful, you can be in charge. You can be the first person responsible for your business, which can be a cafe, it can be everything, it can be an hairdresser business, whatever we can think. But of course, we can target, as we have seen also in the presentations of the volunteers, for example, we can employ some people from that has fewer opportunities. We can link our profit in somehow to other foundations. And so, yeah, what I mean is, like, you can live out of it. You can be your own entrepreneur, so you don't depend to anyone else, and you provide an added values to the society. So if it's a good idea, it can be very, very much successful for everyone. Society, of course, get the benefit of having those needs that are not well matched by the institutional level, the citizens through the social sector of social entrepreneurship. Okay, we can, I'm sorry, we have short time because we should close. The last two questions, 5 minutes each, please. So the next one will be, how can we possibly identify the problems in our society? So once we decide, okay, I would like to invest in social innovation, in social entrepreneurship, how can we properly detect the main problems or the main, okay, let's say unmatched, unfulfilled needs in our society?
If you want, I can also.
For example.
Okay, please.
For example, if you want to do something which will be useful for children or for children, you can meet at first of all you should talk with them which problem they have, or what they want to improve or what they want to change in their society, because every place for example in my country, every place has different problems, and maybe I think that I want to do something, but the main I think that is that what they want to improve and what they want to change. So the most important, I think that it's important to meet the people who your you should meet people who can be who can benefit from your project, who can have benefit from your project.
Thank you, Anna. Anyone else?
Me. Also, yeah, for me, if you are living in a big city, you can see a problem everywhere, because in the city center, inside of a lot of people from everywhere. And when you look to city center and look to people's face, or for example, people's behavior when walking in street, or also social media is a very important, because, you know, in this world, digitalization and social media is very important for the humans, because humans being single and just they want their self in social media, and they can shoot, they can say their ideas or their complaints about the lifestyles or the problems. So we need that's two elements for me.
May I?
Zelal? I think Zelal, then Erilda, please. First Zelal.
And after it, maybe me.
Yes, okay. Zelal, Erilda, Özlem, please.
I agree with Deniz. I think it is, we need to be a good observer. When we look at the environment, when we look at the people and what they are suffering from is very obvious. So if we are a good observer, we can see the problems easily. The second thing could be, we can watch the news and we can see lots of problems, what's happening in our country and city and etc. And third thing could be, I mean, we can read sociological articles if we would like to focus on these issues, if we can't find anything about from our observations and from the news. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very clear. Erilda, please.
Yes. On my opinion, if we want to raise a social business, we can create any kind of connection to get information from community, different social offices, or municipality government. So in this way, we can have a background of what target groups mostly need help and inclusion in the area where we are interested to invest. And then after this, we can decide which kind of activities will be better to include. Yeah, thank you. That's it.
Maybe I can start.
Yes, please, Özlem. Thank you, Erilda. Özlem.
Yeah, for me, we don't have to identify problems if we are talking about social entrepreneurship. Because if, as a social entrepreneur, something will touch you, and after it, you will look for a solution, sustainable solution, and on that way, you will see your ecosystem or like institutions for support you, and to try to build your own business. And it's not like a project looking for problems. Okay, there is a problem and we will work for that. I think in that topic, there are different links. And I think from that question, I see that's like projects part. To see something and find a solution. But it's for social entrepreneurship context, I think it's different. You feel some problem, and a problem will touch you, and after it you will start that journey and to be a part of the social entrepreneurship ecosystem as an entrepreneur.
But I want just to say something, then Zelal, I will give you the floor. I think, yeah, that you need to feel those problems. So that's again, how do we feel those? How do we detect? Like Zelal gave us some options, let's say. In my opinion, social entrepreneurship might be more effective if it stays local. What I mean is like that I think we have a much more clear understanding of the complex reality in which we live. So we might be more effective. Like I don't know, in the country where I live, in the city where I live, or where I'm from, for example, you can have a better understanding of which are the problems that are not much fulfilled. So I think when it stays local, it can be more effective. But for example, we have seen in the presentation of the Macedonian group, like they have some funds for also foreigners for the eco-green economy, which is very positive. But in my opinion, like I think social entrepreneurship should stay mostly local by people who really know very well the context in which they want to work on, and they are very much bound with this territory, let's say.
Yeah, okay. I think I misunderstood question. For after your approach, I understood that. Of course, you are right. For our how can I translate it? For our local life, of course, if I identify my problem, like to see all mechanism and solutions, it's better. And after it, maybe a part of other, I don't know, maybe in other continent. If they need, they will copy and they will use that system. And I agree with that. I think I misunderstood the question. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Muslim. Zelal, do you want to reply again, or?
I would say something about what Özlem said, but I think she changed her decision, so I don't want to say something. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't change.
I mean,
I have
maybe
same ideas, but different context. Yeah.
Okay, if I didn't misunderstand, you said that we don't need any project and a problem is gonna affect us internally, then we are gonna act as far as I understand.
Yeah, of course. They have different minds, yeah. Project
okay,
and
so
enterprises, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I am not so familiar with this topic actually, but I think, in my opinion, we still need a project to be able to act systematically and to be able to act by planning to implement something very effective and very beneficial, in my opinion. So I think, I don't know what we are trying to say while we are saying project, but in my opinion, when I say we need a project to be able to implement something beneficial or effective, I think we definitely have a project, because we need a plan, we need a budget, we need other stuff. So that's why first we need to identify the problem clearly, then we can act on it if we have a clear plan and project. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you very much for this clarification. And we now proceed with the very last question. So how can we encourage entrepreneur initiatives in countries where this sector is not much developed? So in those countries where there is no much funding, no much awareness on social entrepreneurship, how can we encourage those kind of initiatives?
Okay. Okay, I can say something.
First of all,
no, go on, you.
Okay, Anna, you say, first of all, so you need to start.
Okay, first of all, I think we need to grow awareness. What we talked about before, that I think more youth people should know about these projects as and this opportunity to have and to start up their business, and how can have social, how can they improve, and how they
I'm afraid we have some connection problem. Maybe
young people should say in their
Anna, could you repeat your last 20-30 seconds, please? It was not much clear.
Can you hear me?
Now, yes. Unfortunately, we lost the second part of your contribution.
Yeah, okay. In short, I would like to tell that the most important in my opinion, is that to grow awareness. I mean that more young people should know how can they use their ideas and how can they realize. And yeah, I think that the most important thing is to work in this thing and in this sphere.
Thank you. Patrick?
Yes, I just would like to add that I totally agree with you, Annie. Of course, we have to create more awareness about social entrepreneurship and these things. But how can you get those countries where social entrepreneurship is actually a not really well-known stuff? So in my opinion, Erasmus Plus projects are doing a really good thing in this topic, because you can write projects and you can invite some countries to participate in your projects. And maybe because I'm from Spain, I can share my knowledge or my background, entrepreneurial background that I have from Spain, with another countries where it is less developed, because, for example, Turkey, or for example, Morocco or Algeria or another countries that we already know that entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial skills are not super well developed. So in my opinion, to write the Erasmus Plus projects about those topics are super important. And also, I don't know how to get those governments and how can we convince them to start to invest in entrepreneurial education for youngsters. I don't know how can do that, but just in my mind, I have only the opportunity that the Erasmus Plus project are given to us.
Thank you. Stefan, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very fast. I wanted to say this encouraging thing about countries where the sector is less developed. It's you cannot do anything because it's governmental job. But for example, it depends on the diplomacy of the countries. For example, Macedonia is not that rich, and it cannot give money to young people, but they made diplomacy with the Netherlands or United Kingdom or European Union. So it depends on the government and diplomacy between countries. If you cannot do that, you can ask for this from these countries, and they can lend you money or stuff like that. So I think we cannot do anything about this development.
Thank you. Okay, if there is no any additional contribution, we may...
Maybe I can say something.
Please, Özlem, please.
Yeah. If we talk about Turkey, we have sosyal girişimcilik ağı. Did you hear about it? It can be good to see your way and like to to take information which you need. And for maybe for other perspective, I can say there are a lot of institutions like Ashoka, maybe you heard about it. Ashoka, Euclid, different kind of mechanism. If you don't take fund from your country or your your how can I say, your near ecosystem, you can find for international opportunities. Mm-hmm. And for that, in this century, it's not that much hard to reach them. And this perspective can help, I think. And of course, Erasmus funds can be a way. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we link with what Stefan also was supporting, the idea of finding some international funds through diplomatic agreements among the countries, especially, can be a way. Okay, so we can close with this webinar on social entrepreneurship, on social innovation, promoted by ASIGM, the Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center. I want to thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Thank you very much to our international volunteers for all their work, their commitment. They spend time for their presentation, for making, putting all the material in the slides. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much to Patricia, our young entrepreneur. And thank you very much, Denise, the project coordinator, for making everything possible, for making this project possible. So we will update you with the further activities of Ankara Social Innovation Youth Center. So please keep following us. We will have new initiatives, new activities. So we really would like to have you involved in the future as well.
Jacopo? I shared mail and phone information on the chat. If anyone wants to reach our center.
Thank you.
Thank you for this event. I really appreciate to all of you, and also Ms. Özlem. I know Turkish entrepreneur network, and I'm so glad to your participate in our webinar. Thank you.
You are welcome. It's a pleasure for me, and for collaborations, I'm all the time open for to talk. We can discuss and we can find a way, or we can work for social benefit together. And maybe I can share my LinkedIn account, and if one of you want to reach me all the time, you are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry, Mrs. Lem, you said at the beginning you are based in Bursa?
Yeah.
Bursa, okay.
Yeah, in Bursa.
Okay. Yes, please, if you could share, we can take it.
This is my LinkedIn account, and we can talk more to create social benefit together. Yeah.
Okay, I'm saving it. And also to those who send emails, I received some in the group, some privately. I will send the slides prepared by the volunteers, so you can review them. Thank you once again. Have a very nice weekend.
Bye bye.
Nesibe, we should be in touch. Nesibe, can you share a contact, please, so we may be able to get in touch with you?
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Pásalo también por el grupo de sistema, bueno, o a mí, por favor.
¿Cuál? ¿Esto?
Sí, también.
Te lo paso.
Creo que no está.
No, I wanted just to. Nesibe, if you are still connected, like if you have. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you. So now we will save it. Thanks a lot. So hopefully we can visit you in Konya. Thanks. Okay, te lo paso. No.
Creo que no puedes, porque puedes eso en medio.
uno y el otro también.